Good evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole, and it is my pleasure to give you your news updates this evening. These are your headlines. Japan, Italy, and Namibia commit to strengthening bilateral relations with Harare across various sectors, with a main focus on agriculture and economy. Also coming up on Newsplus, Zimbabwe is losing an estimated $1.2 billion annually due to the proliferation of counterfeit goods. Authorities say modernizing major referral hospitals is critical to improving healthcare delivery and reducing congestion. Stay tuned to Newsplus for more details. The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Sport has expressed satisfaction with the ongoing renovations at the National Sports Stadium. That story and more coming up on Sport. We now take a look at our top story. President Mnangagwa this Thursday received letters of credence from 3 new ambassadors designate from Japan, Italy and Namibia. And all 3 representatives committed to strengthening bilateral relations with Harare across various sectors, with a main focus on agriculture and economy. Our correspondent Latho Nyangu was at State House and filed the following report.
First to present his credentials was the new Japanese envoy, Ambassador Nobutaka Maekawa, who is replacing Shinichi Yamanaka. Speaking to the media after a closed-door meeting with President Mnangagwa, Ambassador Maekawa said Tokyo remains supportive of Harare's developmental thrust, with main focus on strengthening ties in agriculture and the economy. The 2 countries also enjoy bilateral relations in critical sectors such as education and health, with President Mnangagwa's participation at the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development last year, reaffirming the long-standing partnership between the 2 nations.
We put emphasis also on sectors such as agriculture, mining, or human resources.
And at the same time, allow me...
The second envoy to present his credentials was the new Italian ambassador to Zimbabwe, Giuseppe Giacalone. He emphasized that Zimbabwe is a long-standing friend and is eager to support and work with the government. Harare and Rome enjoy cordial relations, with the European countries' continuous interest in dam construction, granite extraction and agriculture, and the presence of long-standing companies such as New Holland major highlights.
My first task, my first objective is to strengthen and foster bilateral relations, also inside the European Union, and I will do my best also to strengthen the economic and commercial relations between Italy and Zimbabwe. So the embassy is open to the companies who are interested in starting and strengthening their relations with the companies of my country.
Namibian ambassador to Zimbabwe, David Ashelo Thomas, was the last to present his credentials to the president, marking the formal commencement of his diplomatic mission in Zimbabwe. Ambassador Thomas expressed his commitment to deepening bilateral relations and promoting increased cooperation between Harare and Windhoek. His appointment signifies a renewed commitment to the strong and cordial bonds of friendship that are rooted in the shared history and mutual support dating back to the liberation struggles for both countries.
As ambassador of Namibia, I will prioritize and tirelessly endeavor to promote bilateral cooperation in the political, economic, trade, diplomatic sphere, but also in areas such as defense, agriculture, higher education and vocational training, health, mining and energy, road infrastructure development, tourism, as well as sport, cultural and people-to-people exchange programs.
From agriculture to infrastructure, education to industry, the arrival of the 3 envoys signals renewed momentum in Zimbabwe's diplomatic journey. Latho Nyangu, for the Prime State House.
Now, China's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Zhou Ding, has presented a letter to President Mnangagwa from his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, which praised the veterans of the liberation struggle for being a critical pillar in advancing the 2 countries. Now, the war veterans had written to President Xi, recalling their unforgettable training experiences, expressing gratitude for China's support for Zimbabwe's national liberation. And President Emmerson Mnangagwa took time to read part of this letter from his counterpart counterpart, President Xi, who emphasized China's continued commitment to work hand in hand with Zimbabwe with a shared future and a mutual duty to safeguarding the two countries' long-standing legacy.
This is from President Xi Jinping.
Yes.
People's Republic of China President. It was a great pleasure to receive your heartfelt letter. In your younger years, for the great cause of national liberation, you journeyed far away from home and developed an enduring bond and camaraderie with China. Today, you continue to keep a special place in your heart for China's friendship with Zimbabwe and the African Atlantic.
Ambassador Zhou reiterated that the pre-independence relationship between Zimbabwe and China does not only speak to the past, but also the future.
Response to our all veterans co-signed letter means a lot. It not just speaks to the past, but also speaks to the future. And we just mentioned that we want to tell our younger generations to know about our common value, our common legacy, which has been providing the strengths with them. China has been supporting Zimbabwe for decades.
And after the engagement with the new envoys, President Mnangagwa also met a delegation from Varun Beverages, a diversified conglomerate with interests in beverages, in fast food and healthcare. And speaking after a closed-door meeting with President Mnangagwa, Varun Beverages chairman Ravi Jaipuria said they discussed with President Mnangagwa over the launch of a beer plant that's worth $250 million and a snacks plant worth $15 million with a capacity of 6 tons.
The snacks plant was about $15 million. So snack plant will give about 100 people employment, but the beer plant will give about 2,500 people employment. But it will help the farmers, and the same thing in the snack plant also. All the 6,000 tons, the maize is local, purchased locally from the farmers, so it will help the farmers grow the business.
Now, in other news, Zimbabwe is losing an estimated $1.2 billion annually due to the proliferation of counterfeit goods, while regional estimates under COMESA suggest that between 30 and 60% of products circulating in Eastern and Southern Africa could be fake. And this came out at the Zim Paper's public lecture on counterfeit products at the Harare Institute of Technology this morning. We give you more in the following report.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Dr. Thomas Uteteushe, said the counterfeit crisis is not just a trade issue, but a development challenge that requires strengthening domestic production. He said building strong local industries will reduce dependence on imports and close gaps that allow fake goods to flood the market.
How do we fight counterfeits? It's industrialize and produce our own product, period. There will be no space for smuggled goods. There will be no space for illicit goods. There will be no space for fake products.
By Zimbabwe Chief Executive Officer Alois Burusa said counterfeit products are crippling compliant manufacturers who invest in quality, standards and employment. He called for stiffer and more deterrent fines, arguing that current penalties are too lenient to stop repeat offenders.
The fine, if you are caught dealing in counterfeits, the fine is only $30. The ZRP is there, they will tell you. It's only $30. So apparently took it.
The country's porous borders remain a concern in this fight. Authorities say surveillance and inspection systems are being intensified. The Consumer Protection Commission said the electronics sector is among the hardest hit, with the refurbished phones being imported from Dubai and China being repackaged and sold locally as new devices.
Consumers, they are crying almost like every day. Because on the electronics sector, people are buying refurbished phones from Dubai and China. But what they are now doing is that when they come here, they sell them as new. They'll actually be boxed. So you discover that you buy your iPhone, you buy your Samsung, thinking that it is new.
Stakeholders said the challenge requires stronger collaboration between academia, government, and industry.
PS, this is really a call for partnership between academia, government, and industry. We await a day when our local companies will substantially fund research and establish professional chairs in our universities.
Stakeholders are now calling for a comprehensive anti-counterfeit act similar to legislation in Mauritius and Seychelles to consolidate enforcement efforts and ensure tougher penalties. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Ibn Mabunda, Zimbabwe's capital, Harare.
Now, coming up shortly after the break, government commits to modernize public health institutions.
Invitation of public comments on the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Amendment Number 3, Bill HB1, 2026. Section 328, subsection 4 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe provides that immediately after the Speaker has given notice of a constitutional bill in terms of subsection 3, Parliament must invite members of the public to express their views on the proposed bill in public meetings and through written submissions, and must convene meetings and provide facilities to enable the public to do so. In compliance with this peremptory constitutional provision, and as part of public consultations meant to enhance participatory democracy, Parliament of Zimbabwe is inviting comments on the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Number 3, Bill HB1 2026, for consideration by the relevant committees. Comments must be submitted to the following email address: bills@palzim.gov.zw, or physically at the Parliament Building, Mount Hampton, Harare. Public hearings on this bill will be announced in due course on dates to be advised. For any clarification on the process, you may get in touch with the Acting Deputy Clerk of Parliament on nyawo@palzim.gov.zw.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us. We now take a look at the health sector. Authorities say modernizing major referral hospitals is critical to improving healthcare delivery and reducing congestion. This was said by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Aspect Maunganizi, during a tour of renovations at Parirenyatwa Group of Hospitals, together with the Special Advisor to the President, Dr. Joram Gumbo, and Harare Provincial Minister Charles Tavengwa. Our reporter Talent Gore gives us more.
The rehabilitation of Mbuyane Maternity Hospital marks a significant transformation, with authorities describing it as the most significant overhaul since the hospital was established nearly 7 decades ago. The bed capacity of the hospital has been increased from 200 beds to 260 beds, bringing much relief to patients. The rehabilitation of Mbuyane Maternity Hospital forms part of a wider program to modernize public health institutions across the country. Dr. Gumbo commended the quality of work being done at the hospital. He said modernizing major referral hospitals is critical to improving healthcare delivery and reducing congestion.
So we're definitely happy to see that this is what is happening, because a healthy nation has got healthy people. Without healthy people cannot, develop a country.
Authorities say these upgrades form part of the country's Vision 2030 agenda of becoming an upper-middle income society by 2030.
Tinotenda zvikuru kune mutungamiri wenyika nebasa riri kuitwa pano. Ngarirambe richiitwa nemazvo. Totenda kana vashandi vari kushanda pano veprepare vacho nebasa ravari kuita. Vari kuitwa nemazvo. Tinozvikudza. Ngatirambei takananga negwara ratinaro towards Vision 2030.
The renovations include upgrading maternity wards, improving patient space, and installing modern equipment to strengthen maternal and newborn care services.
We have seen increased capacity from 220 beds, now we're talking of 265, potential to more than 300 beds in the hospital, and increasing facilities such as theatres to 3. And in terms of progress, we are looking now at plus or minus 50%.
As government pushes ahead with modernizing public institutions across the country, authorities say projects such as these ones are expected to improve service delivery and better patient outcomes across the country. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gori in Harare.
And moving on, Lupane State University has transformed over 2,000 hectares of conservancy land into Wildlife Ecotourism Innovation Park, a project expected to generate revenue to support conservation and provide hands-on training for students under the Education 5.0 framework. Now, Faith Nyaude gives us the report.
Located in Wange District is the Bingwa Wildlife Ecotourism Innovation and Industrialization Park. This is one place blending education, conservation, and tourism. Developed by Lupane State University, the Bingwa Wildlife Ecotourism Innovation and Industrialization Park will be opened in May this year, providing hands-on experience to students on wildlife programs while generating income. The university says this is also a way of promoting wildlife conservation.
The project is an attempt to contribute to wildlife conservation because this is a major corridor for wildlife that is crossing from the Kaza region, Kaza National Parks.
Close to $800,000 has been injected into the project, with the university expecting to recoup the investment within 3 years.
3 years thereafter, we should have recouped the money that we plowed into this facility. And what I mean by recouping is that at that stage, we should now start talking about realizing profits because we would have returned the money, the funding that went into the facility.
Government says the Bingwa project is a model that other universities can emulate under the Education 5.0 framework.
If you look at other institutions elsewhere, they also have their structures in those places which are working towards the same.
Minister Shaba said government is ready to support university programs to ensure innovation and industrialization.
We funded, our ministry funded the construction of all these units you see here, including the Jojo tanks which they were mentioning. We funded that, and we are going to continue. They are at 90-something% now. We are going to continue to fund them to completion.
When complete, the Bingwa project will feature a conference center, dining facilities, and 13 chalets, positioning itself as a functional ecotourism destination capable of hosting visitors while generating revenue. For ZTN Prime, I'm Faith Nyaude in Wange.
Government has reaffirmed their commitment to advancing the digital transformation of broadcasting services, stressing the importance of keeping Zimbabweans well-informed to support the nation's development goals. And Information Minister Dr. Musoda today toured the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation Pocket Hill Studios, where he encouraged the national broadcaster to explore diverse initiatives to sustain its ongoing transformation.
In the quest of leaving no one and no place behind, ZBC plays a very critical role in terms of informing the public, in terms of educating the public, and also entertaining the public. And no one must be left behind, and we expect, as we aspire to realize the vision of becoming an upper middle income society, that everyone must be in the mainstream national development trajectory. Everybody has to participate, and the only way by which people can participate is when they are informed.
Youth business units drive skills and also job creation. That story coming up in business.
This Valentine's month, share the ultimate gift of life. Donate blood and make a profound difference. Visit us in Harare at 53 Mazoe Street, Bogravia, or join us at the second floor, at the Gweri Showgrounds, or in Mashingo, at Haley's and Emsley Close, or at the main post office in Bulawayo, and at our Mutare branch. Give love, give life. Donate blood this February. Donors to receive special surprise tokens of appreciation.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Government is rolling out youth business units under the Presidential Rural Development Program to tackle unemployment and drug abuse. One of the centers set to lead this initiative is the Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa Vocational Training Center. Our correspondent Thesius Shambare filed this report.
Song and dance filled the air as youths arrived at the Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa Vocational Training Center in Marondera, a unit recently launched by the president. They are here for skills and opportunity. The center operates under ADA and forms part of a national rollout of 4,800 youth business units. The aim, job creation and enterprise development.
Here, upon full operationalization, we'll be having 64 vocational training center business units. And our youth are also getting employed here and are no longer idle, which also reduces, which also keeps them busy, and which also helps in stopping drug abuse amongst the youth.
Youth will receive hands-on agricultural training while participating in a structured business model.
The profit after tax is shared equally amongst the beneficiaries. So they are both shareholders and employees of the scheme.
Aquaculture is also part of the training model.
We expect to harvest around 6 tons, and then on those 6 tons, we are expecting to say they are going to sell at $3 a kg, and they will get an estimated income of around 6,000.
Authorities say the model will produce entrepreneurs while keeping youths productively engaged. With thousands of youth business units set for establishment nationwide, government hopes this initiative will boost rural productivity and curb drug abuse. For ZTN Prime in Marondera, I am Thesius Shambare.
Another tour, another promise on National Sports Stadium. Stay tuned for your sports updates to get more details on that. The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Sport has expressed satisfaction with the ongoing renovations at the National Sports Stadium, noting significant progress on the project. Now, committee chairperson Farai Jere said rehabilitation works at the giant facility are now at an advanced stage and are expected to be completed within the next 8 weeks, as the project is currently 98% complete.
Very much impressed with the progress that we have seen. The last time which we were here in July, what we saw and the significant changes which we have seen here, it's unbelievable. And we are very happy. The water reticulation system, as we have actually seen, all the pipes are now covered. And they are now at a testing stage where they are testing the waters, how they are getting into the toilets. If you look at the toilets which you saw up there, they are all world-class toilets which are being put here. The turnstiles, our gates, is something out of this world. You know, we have been here and we have also traveled a lot, and what we have seen with other countries and other facilities, they actually bring this old facility to a world class, and it's futuristic the way things are being done. AI run, you saw the control room, the entire stadium. If anyone is now going to dare throwing a stone into the stadium because they are angry with the result of their team, they are going to be easily caught, which is actually going to bring security to our people.
Meanwhile, ZIFA President Nqobile Magwizi welcomed the progress made at the facility, saying its completion will pave the way for the return of international football to the country, and commended the pace and quality of the work, highlighting the importance of restoring the stadium to meet international standards.
We want to thank His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, for making sure that what was promised is indeed coming to fruition. We can see for ourselves. The bucket seats are in place, the floodlights are in place, the changing rooms are almost done, the toilets are almost done, the turnstiles are there in place. There is just a few things that, of course, need to be attended to, which is what we've been told within the next 8 weeks. We should be in a position to come back here and reflect and possibly start to play our matches, which is something that is going to be putting smiles on every football-loving Zimbabwean. So we are grateful for this. Also wanting to thank the Ministry of Sport for their continued support. Football in Zimbabwe will never be the same again.
Now, in other sports news, India beat Zimbabwe by 72 runs to get their T20 World Cup campaign back on track on Thursday. India lost their opening game of the Super 8s against South Africa and desperately needed a win to keep their hopes of reaching the semi-finals alive. Now, Zimbabwe won the toss and opted to field first, but Abhishek Sharma and Hardik Pandya both struck half centuries as India posted a huge total of 256 to 4. Now, Brian Bennett starred with the bat for Zimbabwe, hitting an unbeaten 97, but Zimbabwe could only manage 184 to 6. And India will now face West Indies on Sunday, with the winner progressing through to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup alongside England, South Africa, and either New Zealand or Pakistan. And that rounds up the sports stories that we had for you. But just before we close off the bulletin, I'd like to just give you a recap of our top stories this evening. Japan, Italy and Namibia committed to strengthening bilateral relations with Harare across various sectors, with a main focus on agriculture and economy. We also gave you something on how Zimbabwe is losing an estimated $1.2 billion annually due to the proliferation of counterfeit goods. Now, authorities said modernizing major referral hospitals is critical to improving healthcare delivery and reducing congestion. And in sport, we gave you a story on how the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Sport has expressed satisfaction with the ongoing renovations at the National Sports Stadium. Thank you very much for tuning into our bulletin this evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. It's good night from myself and the crew behind the scenes.